My name is Patricia Young Brown, and I'm CEO of Thinkery, Austin's children's museum. I've lived with depression and anxiety on and off for decades, and so it's really just part of my life. I remember as a teenager asking my mother, I need to go talk to somebody. I've got these things going on with me, I don't understand. I think it was about a year ago, the psychiatry group that I utilize sent me an email and said, your electronic medical records now available, review the notes from your last visit. So I'm clicking through those, and all of a sudden I come upon this diagnosis that says mental illness, and it was mental illness? I thought I just had depression and anxiety. I didn't make that connection. Then that really got me thinking about how I face it as an individual, how I face it in my workplace. I am a leader in my organization, so I have an affinity for the subject, but how was I actually approaching it? And the awareness of that changed how I began thinking about what we could do about it.
Arrow decided to take on behavioral health challenge in the Central Texas community because it is such a large, unspoken challenge.
There are lots of realities of mental illness that people might not be aware of, including things like how common it is actually.
1 in 5 people will have in their lifetime some type of mental health issue or concern.
People struggling without the help of the most predominant community that they happen to be in, which is the workforce.
The stigmas and myths that we have to overcome are that mental illness is some form of weakness, and therefore if you're weak you can't do your job properly.
There's a lack of education, I think, also causes us, when we don't know, many times many of us go into a fear mode, particularly when it's something to us that looks outside of what we determine to be normalcy.
In the United States, there's $193 billion in lost wages, earnings, related to mental health issues. It's costing money to not treat the mental health issues of employees.
So often we don't understand what is happening because we can't see it. When somebody walks in with a broken arm or a broken leg, we immediately embrace and acknowledge the challenge that person might be having, opening a door or doing their work. Let's try and do the same thing with folks who have behavioral health challenges. First and foremost, we need to acknowledge and embrace people who are having such challenges in the workforce and let them know that we're here to help, we're here to care.
In the corporate environment or business environment, there needs to be education to all employees, and it needs to start from the top down.
To whom much is given, much is required. And part of what each one of us is given is a sphere of influence.
If our greatest assets are our employees, we have to figure out how to support them.
We have a responsibility to talk about, to help educate, provide information to our spheres of influence.
Because we want them in the workplace. We want them to be as productive and creative as they can be, as contributing as they can be, and we know our businesses will be more successful if they are. I want people to be able to put a face with a condition. I'm hoping that people can look at me and say, oh, I didn't know that about her, but does that really change how I think about her, or what she's done, or how she's contributed? And I hope the answer is no.